What's happening, everybody? Your boy Big Brando, and today's question comes to you from the homie Sergio. And Sergio wanted to know, why can't he get any traffic to his site? He said he launched last month. He thought he was going to have a successful launch. He has 6 different t-shirts to offer, and he only gets maybe 2 to 3 views a day on his page or on his online store. And he thinks those 2 to 3 views is just him going to his online store to make sure everything looks right. So I asked him, what did you do prior to launching? What was your marketing strategy? What were you doing? What was the idea? What was the plan? He just said, I was flooding my Instagram. I opened up a business Instagram page, and I was flooding that shit with my shirts, with everything. I was hashtagging the shit, and I was just pretty much pumping the shit out on my brand's page. I said, how many followers do you got? He said 27. That right there already tells you only 27 people are going to see his page and then go there. Now, do you need a lot of followers for this? No. But what you could do is, instead of just posting a shitload of pictures on your page, is you physically going to your target audience and engaging with them on their pages. This in return brings them back to your page and sees the 20 pictures that you were posting a day, and obviously they could see what the fuck's going on. Now, I kind of talk about this. I just recorded a Patreon video like a day or 2 ago, talking exactly about this type of marketing. And I kind of break down, if you guys are familiar with Master P and No Limit Records, and if you were around back in the 90s when Master P was doing his thing, you would understand the marketing that Master P was doing is pretty much what you could do for social media today. So that Patreon video is going to be posted. The Patreon goes live November 1st. So that's where you can find that information. But I break down what he did back in the 90s and how you could apply that to today's market with social media and your new brand. For example, he was an independent, he was running an independent record label, and he was able to get in the faces of a lot of majors and gain a lot of traction with his fan base by targeting certain customers. And he was a competitor with the major labels, and he was operating at an independent label. So Master P figured the shit out early on. You guys could do the same exact thing with your brands. Now, my advice to Sergio was, just because you launched the brand, nobody goes to Google and says, all right, let me see what new startup brand started today, and they're just randomly gonna find your website. That shit doesn't work that way. You have to put in the fucking work when you're starting out. So prior to launching, what I would have did was figure out my target audience, and then I would have started just hitting them up, engaging with people on their social media. And when I say hitting them up, I'm not saying go to their comments and say, hey, check out my new shirts, I run this brand, blah, 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 buy my shirt. Don't say nothing about your brand. Engage in regular conversation. All you have to say is, you look at their page and be like, hey, man, you caught that Laker game, blah, blah, blah. That's a cool dog. What kind of dog is that? Hey, those are cool-ass shoes. You know, where'd you get them from? I've been trying to get them. Engage in normal conversation with pictures that your customers post. Now, this is going to, in return, bring them back to your page, because they're going to say, hey, man, I've been going back and forth with this person. Who the fuck is he? And then they see all your postings, right? This is the easiest way of picking who you want to sell to. You know what I mean? Your designs have to sell themselves once you get them to your page, but that's what's going to gain the traction. So a lot of people always think like, oh, I'm just going to boost ads. I'm just going to pay for promotion. I'm going to buy Facebook ads and Instagram ads and all that shit. That's fine if you wanted to do that shit, but you're just falling into an algorithm. And that algorithm has to compete with the big corporate brands that are also using social media marketing. So if your budget is only $20 a week, and you're going against all these other big brands that are dropping thousands of dollars a week, you lose, because you're not going to fall in that same algorithm that these bigger brands do, because they set the bar too high. You know what I mean? So if you do it free and you just jump in and you start talking to people that you want to sell to, you have to know who your target audience is first before this shit works. But when you start talking to them, that's when they'll go back to the page and be like, oh shit, you know, fucking this is so-and-so, look at his fucking shirts, I've been talking to him, cool. But they see your offering. That's how you're getting the eyes to it. So utilize those hashtags. If you're selling fucking shirts to, like, let's say surfers or some shit like that, there's a lot of different types of surfers. There's you could go all day long with surf lingo, with different brands of surfboards, the way people ride, shit like that. And then you could find the target audience, or you could, if you already just know who you want to sell to, you go to those hashtags and it'll just pull up a shitload of people and you go back and forth with people. It's that fucking simple. I've posted videos about this shit before. But you have to know your target audience. With Sergio's case, he just wanted to be a streetwear brand and he wanted to compete with the likes of Supreme, Bait. He was like, oh yeah, my audience is the people that buy Supreme and Bait. That's cool, but you have to remember that the people that are really into Supreme and Bait, like the real motherfuckers that are doing the shit, rarely take chances on new startup brands. They're rarely buying from the startup brand that's going to hit them up on Instagram because they're dropping all this dough on Supreme and Bait. They're into the shit. You know what I mean? Like, they get off on Supreme and Bait. They're not taking a chance on a new brand. So you have to remember that because you want to sell to those guys that are buying all the Supreme and shit like that, and these are the guys that are buying like every fucking collection that drops every Thursday, you have to remember they're not really searching for new brands. They're just on the train of Supreme and Bait. So if you want to compete with them, it's hard to break somebody out of that mold because they're used to just buying off of the brands that they like. So what you have to do is find the guys that like Supreme and Bait but can't afford the shit, or they can't catch the release dates or whatever it is, and then you break those guys down. You know what I mean? So think about the shit before you launch. Figure out who you want to sell to. Break it down to the smallest fucking person ever. You want to be in the streetwear scene? Break it down all the way down to like a core group of people that you want to sell to and expand from there. All right? Hopefully this helps you out, Sergio. We went back and forth for a while. You said you're going to figure out your target audience and all that shit, and that's good. Hopefully the shit works out for you. But this is my thought process on when it comes to marketing and social media, advertising and shit like that. Is you have access to your customers. You have access to the people that you want to sell to and to the people that potentially could buy from you. You know what I mean? So use that information and just do the research. We all sit on our phones all day long, man. Just go through hashtags, go through people that you want to sell to, and then fucking go back and forth. Engage with them, you know what I mean? And you don't have to sell them in the comments. All you have to do is just engage with them to get them to go to your page. And then from there, your designs have to sell themselves to get them to click the links and all this shit. But if you have it, you will be able to fucking really knock the shit down. Meaning, if your designs are that, if they're the shit, you know what I mean? If you really feel confident in those designs, they'll sell themselves as long as you're targeting the right audience, all right? If you guys got any more questions, leave those shits in the comments or tweet me at Big Brando, all right? Peace.